Hi there, I'm Dr. Ken Mueller from Mobility Care, and I want to talk to you about an orthotics fitting. Hopefully, when you had your assessment, you discussed what type of footwear you were planning to put your orthotics into. If you did that well and you got good advice at that time, this phase is a whole lot easier because the orthotic will be designed to fit nicely into your target. If you have nice runners with removable insoles or casual shoes with removable insoles, usually works pretty well. But if you're designing something for a dress shoe versus a tactical or hiking boot, your design might be a little bit different. So you got to plan ahead. You might make things a little thinner or a little thicker. You might also have to select better footwear that will accommodate your orthotic. Hopefully you've had that discussion already, so this does get easier. When you have the orthotics, you have some important advice to consider as well. And usually that starts with how many hours should you wear it on the first day. Usually no more than about 2. 2 hours on day 1, 3 hours on day 2, adding an hour a day until your full day is covered. If you have a removable insole, you can put that back into your shoe when you remove the orthotics, or you can have a different pair of shoes as you're adapting. It's not that you're necessarily going to cause yourself harm, but sometimes you can have some aches and pains in your lower limbs, and this will mitigate that a little bit so your life is smoother as you're getting used to your new orthotics. So you've got your orthotics, you did your homework, and you have a fantastic shoe that will house it. Let's get them in there. This is an orthotic. This is a plastic shell-based orthotic, and so it has a little bit of spring to it. High-density foam EVA orthotics are also excellent, and we can work with those too. I prescribe them quite often. When we have an orthotic, no matter what the materials, the front portion is usually relatively easy to trim. We may design it intentionally a little bit long so that you can take the edge off and fit it perfectly to the shoe when you have it in your hand. If we do it a little too short and your toes are hanging off the end, then we have a problem. But we can always take a little bit off. Much easier than putting it back on again. So I have a shoe here that will house that. This is an Echo brand, excellent. Many running shoe brands also have a nice, easy, removable insole. This one comes out smoothly and in one piece. Sometimes the foam of the bottom of the insole will get glued down too heavily. And when that happens, you put your hand into the bottom of the shoe and you feel this ridgy mountain range of mess, and you just can't get the orthotic to sit down nicely. So once again, select well when you're choosing your footwear, and it makes life easier downstream. So I have the insole that is out of the shoe, and I'm placing it over top of the orthotic to see, is that going to fit? Simple answer in this case is absolutely not. This orthotic is too long for this shoe. Not a problem. Sometimes your orthotic top cover is a very dark color, like black, quite common. So you can choose to put masking tape, or this is athletic tape, on top of it so that you can see your pen line. Pen line's coming up in a second, but let's do this first. Doesn't need to be perfect, but we're going to smooth it down around the edges so that we have an easy palette to draw on now. So we place the insole over top of the orthotic, get a nice marker or a pen, draw a smooth line on the outside of the insole, and we're going to trim that part completely off. Now, on your first cut, always cut on the outside of the line. You can always take off a little more, but once again, really nasty to put back on. You might have to have it remade, and there will be cost associated with that. So let's err on the side of caution and cut just outside. Now, I'm using tape scissors here. Any good heavy shears or scissors will do it. It's not too hard to cut through. It's a foam type filler at the front of the orthotic. Never trim the back. That is the functional part of your orthotic, and you don't want to mess with that. So now that I've got it trimmed, once again, just to the outside, I'm going to slide it in. Sometimes I put my fingers underneath. Sometimes I do the jelly roll technique where we roll it like this, pop it in, sit the heel down, and then smooth it out. Just going to get the the tongue out of the way while I'm doing this. And voila, I've practiced a few times, but I have a nice smooth finish on the inside and the orthotic is sitting. So then you can put your foot in and try it on, give a little walk and see how it feels. If there are uncomfortable pressure points, lumps and bumps or other problems in there, you should let your provider know so that if any modifications are required, they can be done early. There's no use suffering in silence. These are custom-made products that are supposed to make your life more comfortable. Now, having a little bit of extra pressure through your arch, that is normal. And you may take a little while to get used to that. That's why we do it incrementally, an hour, then 2 hours, etc. If it remains too uncomfortable after a few weeks though, you probably want to check back in and see if a modification is required. Okay, so you got your orthotics in your shoes, they're comfortable, you're walking around, but in your case, you have one leg that's a little bit longer than the other, and it's a new orthotic, so we've never tried heel lifts before. I often provide non-integrated heel lifts, so they come separate. Now this is a pale colored one. Usually the ones I provide are black, but for example, for today, we're going to use this. What you're going to want to do is know which is the shorter leg. And after you've gotten used to the orthotics alone, you want to take that insole back out, put the non-integrated heel lift underneath the heel in that shoe, and then plop the orthotic back down. You may have multiple thicknesses of heel lift. Always start with the thinnest one, and then after about 2 weeks of getting used to it with that new unilateral heel lift, see how it's doing. Is it better? Is it worse? Is it the same? If it's the same or better, you may want to try the thicker one. So you take the thinner one out, put the thicker one in, do that 2-week test again and see how you're doing. Is it better? Is it the same? If it is, then you've been provided a heel lift because you have that leg length differential. If we want to neutralize it and it's comfortable, let's stick with it. That being said, your body has probably made some adaptations naturally before you ever got the orthotics. So if it's not making your life better, go back to this thinner one or remove them altogether and inform your provider that it wasn't the right fit for you. That's not uncommon, that's not weird. That's why we do non-integrated lifts to start with, so that you can do it slowly and incrementally and see what works for you. I hope this has been helpful, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me if I'm your provider, or your provider if it's someone else. Have a great day and enjoy those orthotics.